The Massacre by Christopher Schmelzer. In 1874, a gold rush brought many whites in sacred lands in the Black Hills. Outraged by this, Sioux and Cheyenne Indians left their reservations. They gathered in Montana with the warrior Sitting Bull to fight for their lands. The next spring, 2 victories over the U.S. cavalry encouraged them to fight in the summer of 1876. Trying to force the Indians back to reservations, the U.S. sent 3 columns to attack, one of which contained George Custer and the 7th Cavalry. After spotting the Sioux village, despite orders to wait, Custer decided to attack without alerting the main party. Custer divided his forces into 3 groups, leaving Captain Frederick Benteen and Major Marcus Reno to lead the other 2 groups. Captain Benteen and his troops were to prevent Indian escape through the upper valley, while Major Reno and his men crossed the river and charged the Indian village. Reno's group of 175 soldiers quickly found themselves in trouble when hundreds of Indian soldiers charged, forcing Reno and his men to retreat. Soon after Reno's retreat, the Indians saw Custer and his men coming toward the village. Cheyenne and Sioux Indians crossed the river heading for Custer, while the other Sioux Indians, led by Crazy Horse, got behind Custer and they started firing arrows and bullets at Custer and his men. Custer and all of his men were killed in less than 1 hour, while Reno and Benteen's forces escaped when Indians stopped the fight because of the other 2 columns of soldiers coming toward them. Custer's last stand would also be the last victory for the Indians. The reservation boundary lines were redrawn, and the Black Hills were on the outside of the reservation now and open for white settlement. The Indians were forced back on reservations and were no longer independent. They relied on the government for food and shelter, most of which were very low quality. Later, many Indians became American citizens through the Dawes Act of 1887.